I don't know who it is. Yahweh rising everybody. You got people wondering what's your next move. You got people watching you from behind the scene, in the shadows. You got somebody that's obsessed with you that you don't even know that they obsessed with you because they hiding how they feel about you. And it's because of their pride. Oh, oh, oh. See, I don't know who it is. Yahweh rising everybody. But you're stepping into your inner power. You're stepping into that abundance flow. You're stepping into it. Because some of y'all are about to be millionaires. Y'all about to step into that first one, breaking that generational curse. You will no longer live in poverty. See, your mindset is shifting. Your thought patterns are shifting. Your connections are shifting. You are starting to fall into, you are starting to get people that's on the same path as you. God said that your changes is happening. Everything you pray for is happening right now. But in order for it to happen, you got to be able to be ready to receive it. Some of y'all push it away because of your thoughts. But I'm seeing a lot of celebration, graduations, new beginning. You're about to get your master's degree, or some of you are about to go back to school and get into business. All you is about is your bag. Somebody is about to start a new business. You're about to start a family with someone. I'm seeing weddings, celebration, graduations, ceremony. I'm seeing things that's changing for you right now in this time of season. You're about to balance your life out. You're about to step into your new journey and you're embarking in the new things that God has for you. But some of you are holding yourself back. I'm hearing likes attract likes. You're attracting people that is just like you. And some of y'all wonder why you're attracting that. And God said you're attracting it because you have to receive it. What you're receiving is already ordained for you. See, God said that everything that you asking for is about to come to your doorstep. You stepping into that queen energy, that queen and rising. You building your empire right now. All the hard work is about to pay off, but in order for your hard work to pay off, you got to believe. God said it. What's for you shall not be against you. And God know that you've been putting in that time and that work. God said that you are no longer about to suffer. You're no longer about to suffer. You're no longer about to wait. You're no longer about to be dependent on other people. People about to be dependent on you. People are about to be asking you where you get this from, where you get that from. And you are not the gatekeeper. You are the blueprint. You are the one that's going to lead others. You are going to lead a nation. You're going to build a nation. God is saying that you're going to lead people into the right places. Please like and subscribe to this channel. I thank you guys and say I am a leader. I am a leader. And I am ahead and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. He says you're about to lead others to where you are going. See, people thought you was just not cooking up something, but God said that what you prayed for is about to happen and it's about to take place in your life. See, what you asked for is about to come to you. What you asked for is about to be called in your name. New beginnings. All new beginnings. All positivity. God said luxury is in alignment with you. See, and he also gave me the Bible verse. Proverbs 13:7. It said, there is that maketh himself rich and yet had nothing. There is that making himself poor, yet had great riches. Everything that look rich isn't, and everything that look poor isn't either. This verse reminds us not to judge people by appearance. Some people chase status, designers, and labels, followers, and the image of success. But inside they're empty, overwhelmed, or lacking peace. Others live quietly and humbly. They may not have much but the world's standards, but they're rich in wisdom, integrity, faith, and love, and contentment. God sees beyond what people display. He looks at the heart, not the image we create. Don't compare your journey to someone else. Highlight reels. Ask God to make you rich in the things that truly last. See, you got to understand. You got to ask God to make you rich in the things that he wants you to be rich in. Seek God's wisdom over worldly status. Because true riches can never be measured by appearance. And I understand the Bible teaches you how to be sometimes poor and how to be rich. But let me tell you something, the Bible is balanced. You know, the Bible teaches you the logic things of it, the spiritual things of it. And God said that he made his prophets rich in abundance when they followed him. You ain't never supposed to be in a poverty mind state. Yes, we supposed to look out for the poor when you become rich. But he also said the rich folks became arrogant. But do you know that the righteousness is going to take the wickedness money? See, God said the money don't come with us when we leave. But we got to make something change. He didn't say live in poverty. God never tell you to live in poverty. He tell you to become rich. Rich in the spirit, rich in the heart, rich in health, rich in your mind. See, God never told you to be poverty mind state. He never told you to give up on yourself. Because guess what? You got to start from the bottom to get to the top to reach where you at. See, when you in a business foundation, when you have a business mindset, if you already came in poverty, you going to leave out with riches. God did not say stay there. He say get out of that pit. Because when he changed your heart, he changes something in you. And if your spirit is ambitious, see, the enemy wants you to be in poverty. The spirit of the devil wants you to be in depression. He never told you to not have something. You supposed to have it. God never told you not to have something. You supposed to have everything. Because especially when you walk with God, you supposed to have success. Success supposed to come to you. See, when the enemy come and try to attack your mind and make you believe that this world and the things that you have is not going to get you far. But what if it is going to get you far? What if it is meant for you to go towards what God is leading you towards? See, that's how I know the enemy trying to stop your blessings when he put negative things in your way. See, the enemy will try to stop your blessing when he put negative things in your way. When he say, oh, you got to be poor in order to be rich. No, you got to be rich. The spirit of richness is the spirit of wealth. But God ain't give everybody the money because don't nobody know how to manage it right. Are you putting your money in places that God telling you to put it in? Because I'm not going to lie. He even told you in the Bible, you got to have 7 figures. 7 figures. Let me go to the Bible verse of the 7 figures he said you have. God told you to have 7-figure salary. People doesn't know that though. We not on earth to just play. We on earth to build a legacy for your children. How can your children have an inheritance? Because he also said in Proverbs 13:22, he said leave an inheritance for your children. Children. How you gonna leave something? And then y'all wonder why y'all gotta build your own legacy because your grandparents didn't leave you a legacy. Now you gotta do it on your own. But if you had wisdom, you will understand. A good person leave an inheritance for their children, but a sinner wealth is stored up for the righteous. A wise, good person thinks about the future. They save and plan to bless not just their kids, but their grandkids. You wonder why you're going through something financially because your grandparents didn't leave you nothing. Oh, granddaddy shut down. See, so your grandparents weren't a good person because they supposed to leave you something. Yo, they supposed to leave you something. They supposed to leave you a land. See, wealth transfer, it shows that wealth of dishonest people often ends up in the hands of good, honest people in the end. Think of it like a relay race. A good runner works hard to pass the baton, savings and blessing to the next generation so they have a head start. The reason why you starting off fresh is because your parents and your grandparents didn't leave you nothing. You starting off fresh because they didn't leave a land for you to milk or the honey of your land. See, we got to start off from the bottom because our grandparents didn't leave us nothing. They didn't leave a house and a deed for us. They didn't leave that for us because in the Bible, God said a good person leaves an inheritance for their children. But a sinner wealth is stored up for the righteous. Let me tell you that again. Think of it like a relay race. A good runner works hard to pass the baton, savings and blessings to the next generation. And you wonder why the children is acting up and acting a fool right now because their parents and their grandparents didn't lead them nothing. Even if their parents did leave Earth early on time, they didn't get left with nothing. That's why some kids out here poor. Because, oh, grande shut up. God, they don't want me to talk about this. Because the enemy trying to stop me from talking about it. He said so they had a head start. Meanwhile, a selfish person who cheats to get rich will eventually lose it all to those who doing the right thing. You can't cheat your way in life. You can't. So cheating yourself to get wealth, you will lose everything for a right to the right person. Giving your history, this is what it's saying. Cheating your way in life, you will lose everything. That's why God said start from scratch so you can build your legacy. You can build your legacy. But how you want to build your legacy? You got to leave something for your children. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Church, an inheritance is the money or property passed down to family when someone dies. This verse praises a good person who thinks about the future. They do not just spend all their money today. They save and plan. This allows them to help their children and their grandchildren. Think of it like planting a tree. You may not sit under its shades right away, but your family will in the future. So when you planting something, you building something, and you building a legacy, you building it for your children and your grandchildren. And some parents did it wrong. And see, your grandparents did it wrong. They didn't leave nothing behind. They didn't leave nothing behind. Their land was dried up. But the sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. The sinner is someone who acts in a bad or selfish way. A righteous person is someone who is honest and does good things. This part of the verse says that bad people often lose their money in the end, but because they are greedy or unwise, their wealth slips away and it often ends up in the hands of good, hardworking people. This proverb teaches us about building a legacy and the impacts you leave behind. This verse is about more than just money. It applies to life in three simple ways. Plan ahead. Wise people save and invest so their family has support later. Hard work or earning wealth takes time and good habits. And bad habits destroy wealth quickly. More than money, the best inheritance you can leave is wisdom, good morals, and good example. I'm teaching profound lessons because I didn't know I was going to this path. But some parents and grandparents didn't leave nobody nothing. The wise store up choices food and olive oil, but food's cups, they're down. Proverbs 21:20. 1 Timothy 5:8, providing for the family. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than unbeliever. Proverbs 22:7 said, the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Leaving a financial inheritance requires intentionally daily habits. You can build momentum by following these 4 steps. Write down every dollar you spend for 1 month to find hidden leaks. Build an emergency fund. Save 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a separate account before investing. Set your bank to automatically move a fixed amount into savings and everyday payday. Prioritize eliminating high interest debts like credit cards to feed up your cash flow. As Proverbs implies, character and wisdom are the ultimate inheritance. Money without wisdom is quickly lost. Consider these 3 practices. Normalize financial talks. Teach your children how to budget, bills, and saving work instead of keeping money a secret. Model contentment. Stop gatekeeping from your children. Because if you want to build a legacy of structuring when it's coming to wealth, teach your children how to financial literacy. Teach them something that the school not teaching them. Even if the wisdom is coming from you and God, we got to teach our children how to budget. We got to teach our children how to put money away for a rainy day. We learning the financial ways of life. And God teaching you. Leave an inheritance for your children. So your children won't leave. When you leave this earth and your land it's full of milk and honey. The Bible teaches us the land of milk and honey was to build a legacy. Teach your children how to budget, build, and save and work instead of keeping money a secret. Let your children see you make conscious choices to live within your means and practice gratitude. Tell them stories about your past financial missteps, so they can avoid making the same error. Like Robert Kiyosaki, he passed it down to his son. Sometimes your legacy was built off structuring and finance. Some people are living off financial literacy. Some people have to profit. Some people have to build up profits. Some people are going through financial crisis right now, but teaching and learning how to grow in finance. You got to learn gross pay. You got to learn how to get out of debt. You got to learn things about credit. You got to learn how to do deeds. You got to learn how to get money from the Roth IRA. You got to learn how to get money from things that is going to teach you. You got to be able to invest in yourself and invest in your children. But investments meaning to build a legacy in order to financial gain. Yes, it's cool to be spiritual, but God also said balance it out by material things. The physical means is to bring the material things into the atmosphere. You want to know how people get their Rolls Royce? Do you know that you can get your life insurance policy? You can get money off that? I need you to go into studying on life insurance. Do you know that you can build with your life insurance? You can get a loan within your life insurance while you alive. You can get a loan. And I'm still learning that. Yes, you can borrow money from your policy while you're alive. This is called a policy loan. You can only do this if you have a permanent life insurance policy, like whole of the universal life, that builds a cash value. Term life insurance does not have this feature. The bank, your insurance company, acts as the bank. The cash, the money you borrow, comes from your policy cash values, which acts like a saving account attached to your life insurance. You don't only get money when you die. You can get it while you're alive. The rules, you can usually borrow up to 90% of your current cash value. No credit check. You do not need to apply for a credit check because you are borrowing your own money. Interest rate. You must pay interest on the loan. However, the interest rates are usually much lower than the bank loans or credit cards. Repayment. You choose when to pay back the loan. If you do not pay it back, the company will simply take the unpaid loan amount and interest out of your payout when you die. Tax status. The loan is not usually taxed as income by the IRS. If you borrow too much money, the interest make your total loan bigger than your cash value. Your policy will lapse, cancel. You will lose your life insurance coverage entirely. But you can get a loan while you're alive when it comes to your insurance loan. I didn't know that I was going to assist, but I had a prophecy and a prophetic message to give you guys. It is something that God wanted you to know. That you can build your legacy and you can get wealth now. You can build wealth now. You don't have to wait till you die to get no wealth. Everybody be talking about life insurance. Oh, you can get this when I die. You can get money while you're alive. You can get inheritance while you're alive by building and hard working. You supposed to appreciate your money while you're alive. God said you should live and do the works of the Lord. Mm. You should not die and do. Look what he said. You should live and not die and do the works of the Lord. He said, I should not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. What if the wealth building and transferring was the wealth of the Lord when you were living? God did never say that you're supposed to be in panicking when you were alive, because you shouldn't be in panic. You should not panic. He said, imagine a big storm trying to knock down a tree. The trees bend but does not break. This verse means that God will protect you during hard times. It is a reminder that you have a purpose. You are meant to stay strong and tell others about the good things God has done. See, God did not only say you get wealth when you die. He said that wealth would be built even when you're alive. People think that only wealth can be able to get only when you die. No. You can get love while you're alive. You can get abundance while you're alive. You got to know how to get the wealth. You got to be able to, because life is about being happy, joy. Yes, we're going to have storms. Yes, we're going to have frustration. But we building a foundation. God is leading you. And if God is leading you, that's why he told me to go to this verse. My sheep may know my voice. Do you know God's voice? Do you know how God speaks to you? Are you willing to open up your ears to hear God? That's John 10:8. He said, no, not John 10:8. Not John 10:8. Mm-mm. It was in John, though, something. It ain't 10:8, though. God is telling y'all already. John 10:8, yes, it is. He says, all who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. Do you know that people are robbing you by speaking negativity on your plans? Oh, grande de bushata. In this passage, Jesus is using the imagery of a shepherd and his sheep. Because if you trust God and you know God and you love God, he will give you the righteousness of your heart, and he will also give you the wealth. He will build up the stewardship for you. See, in the passage, Jesus is using the imagery of a shepherd and the sheep. He is not condemning the faithful prophets sent by God in the Old Testament. Rather, he is referring to the false leaders and anyone who claims spiritual authority apart from God's truth and sought to mislead or explode God's people. Thieves and robbers may represent false teachers, self-appointed messiahs, and corrupt religious leaders who sought their own gain instead of caring for God's people. See, people are gatekeeping what God really wants us to know. See, the truth will set you free. He said the false teachers going to get you and lead you into hell. Thank you, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. He said, have not listened to them. Means that those who genuinely speak God ultimately are not led away by deception. John 10 followed Jesus' confrontation with the Pharisees after he healed the man born blind. John 9, Jesus contrasts himself, the good shepherd, when leaders who abuse their authority and fail to care for God's people. See, when you know you for God people, you help people get out of hell and build them up to build a treasurer. See, God said, Proverbs 13:22, leave an inheritance for your children. He didn't say gatekeep. He didn't say hold back the knowledge from your children. He said, teach your children the wealth so they can build up the storehouse and so they can give it back. So if God put you in financial literacy in the season and teaching you about money transferring, you're supposed to teach others. You're supposed to teach others all the wisdom that he's giving you. He's going to lead you towards the people you need to teach the financial options. He's going to teach you. He teaching you about financial literacy by yourself one-on-one because he wants you to go outside and teach his other about it. That's why I might not be on live as much every day because God is teaching me right now. And I'm going to come back. I'm doing a 30-day fast away from the social media and fasting for 30 days until I learn about financials. So I will not be on the broadcast. I'm coming back when God wants me to come back on the internet. Because now I got to really take this serious. So I will not be on the internet for a while. I'm not going to be on the internet for a while. I'm going to take a break off the internet. And I will be back in 30 days. When I teach his financial literacy, I'm coming back for financial literacy teaching. And I got to do 30 days because I got stuff to do. I got to hit my deadline on a lot of things. So I will be back. I will be coming back to the internet. But that's why I'm going to go to God and tell God, let me be isolated or let me stop. Let me go back and to not come back on the internet for a while. I got things to do. The sheep refers to those who truly belong to God and recognize his voice. Have not listened to them means that those who genuinely seek God ultimately are not led away by deception. John 10 follows Jesus' confrontation with the Pharisees, and after he healed the man born blind, John 9, Jesus contrasts himself, the good shepherd, with leaders who abuse their authority and fail to care for God's people. A few verses later, Jesus said, I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. John 10:11. What do the good shepherd do? They what? Sacrifice themselves for the people. So what did God did? What did Jesus do? He what? Sacrificed himself for his people. He said this highlights the difference between Jesus and false shepherds. Jesus sacrificed himself for his people while false leaders seek power, recognition, or personal benefits. This verse encourages believers to test every teaching against God's word. So go back and test my teaching. Ask God for instructions. Ask God for guidance. Don't just go off my words, go off what God was teaching me to tell you guys. Learn to recognize the voice of Christ through scripture and prayer. Be discerning of leaders who points people to themselves instead of to God. That's Jesus as the only true shepherd who leads his people into truth, life, and salvation. Ask yourself, am I following the voice of Jesus or am I following others' voice to shape my beliefs and decisions? Jesus promises that those who belong to him can know his voice and follow him faithfully. I always remember that. I will be back in 30 days. That's a month, I know. But I will be back in 30 days. And I will be back. And I'm going to tell God and I'm going to ask God to let me be gone for 30 days off the internet so I can come back and become more understanding when it comes to my path. I always remember that. I just need you guys to understand that God is leading y'all in the way that you may not understand, but God is going to show you things that you may not see. The power of him is more strong